Hello guys, how you doing? It's Fernando here today with another gaming news week brought to you by me, the SheepTacoMan, Fernando Martinez. I hope everybody's doing great today. Let's go over to the news. So first of all, let's get our GTA update out of the way. For August 3rd to the 10th, Test 2 is reporting that we're going to have, starting today, we're going to have 3 times money in RP on Lamar contact missions, Ron's contact missions, and taxi work. For 2 times money in RP, we're going to get Sumo Remix, Adversary Mode, and Short Trips. For our podium ride, we're going to get the Drift Yosemite. The prize ride is the Turismo R. Luxury Auto is going to have the Vigero ZX and the Buffalo EVX. And Siemens Showroom has the Deviant, the Gasser, the Coquette, the Blade, the Tulip 100. You'll see cars there. Discounts, we got 50% off the Deviant, 40% off all apartments, 40% off all hangars, including the renovations and the upgrades, and 40% off the Peyote Gasser, and 30% off the Broadway, the Eudora, the Greenwood, and the regular taxi that you find in Warstock. So, as it goes for event weeks, not great, but not bad. It's certainly much better than we've had the last couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks have been atrociously bad. These at least I could work with. But it's more for really for beginners though. The contact missions really only beginners grind them out to get their initial money. Taxi work is really, it doesn't even pay very well at all. It's like really low pay, but at least it's triple. So it's triple bad pay. I don't know. It's something that it's not really worth doing unless you need something. Actually, if you I just found out if you want to get the Broadway, this is a version of the taxi, which is this one right here. There were this one for you to get the library for the taxi cab. You need to do 50 of those taxi missions. And I've checked out the library. It actually looks pretty cool on this car. This car in general looks pretty good. Out of all the cars that are discounted, this is probably the one I recommend the most. Not because it's fast or anything. It just looks really cool. I like the old school look of it. And putting a taxi library on it makes it look even better. But it's not necessary. If you want to do that, I mean, this is the week to do 50 cab missions because they're triple money in RP. But mainly, it's the contact missions, maybe the short trips. They're kind of boring to me. I don't really like them. Sumo Remix actually is not bad. It's actually an interesting adversary mode if you do play adversary modes. But the discounts on the apartments are good. The hangars is very good, especially since the hangar business got that upgrade. It's very much worth having a hangar. Even if you don't do the business, it's still worth having a hangar just to store your planes, including that new Raiju plane, which is awesome. So overall, I gave this a B minus. This event week's not great for money. It is decent for RP, especially for beginners to grind these contact missions out. And for beginner money, I guess it's all right too. But it's not like for a veteran like me and for a lot of people out there. It's not really a worthwhile week. But it is good for beginners, very good for beginners. So I give it a B minus. So let's move on. What else do we want to talk? Okay, so first let's start with the PlayStation monthly free games that we get for PlayStation Plus members. We're gonna get and what is it? PGA Tour 2K23. We're gonna get Dreams, and we're gonna get Death's Door. PGA 2023 it's a golf game. It's pretty simple game. It's not that bad. I've actually played a couple of holes. It's a serviceable golf game. And it has it has the PGA Tour branding, so you'll get a lot of real life golfers and stuff like Tiger Woods. So it's a decent pickup, especially since it's free for everybody who's subscribed to PGA Plus. This is even the essential people, like the low tier. Everybody gets this for free. All you have to do is claim it. The other two games, Dreams and Death's Door, never heard really much about either of them. I know Dreams for sure is like a Mario, not Mario. It's like a Little Big Planet type of game. Well, actually, no, Mario Maker too as well, where you can make levels and make different game types, and you could also download the other players' levels and stuff and play them. So it kind of is like Little Big Planet slash Mario Maker kind of game. And Death's Door, I haven't heard much about this one either. I'm not sure, but it's worth trying out. I mean, I do see Death's Door is a popular between PS5 people according to the community. But and I'll show you in a minute. But this is not a great selection of games, but it's not a bad selection of games either. I'd say a solid C. Like golf is golf. It's fun if you like golf. Dreams sounds like a good game. Death Door I've never really heard of, so it's not a great lineup, but it's not a bad lineup either. So, but those are good games. For these games, all you have to do is claim them. You don't even have to download them. So you just claim them. They'll be in your library for as long as you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, even on Essential. These games will be on your library forever, and you can play them whenever you want. and you don't have to download them right away. So it's always worth collecting these games and having them in your library. Next, we're going to talk about the RDR rumored remaster. So a couple of days ago, Rockstar decided to update their website for Red Dead Redemption, the first game, by putting Rockstar Games Present. And this started all this speculation. Even before this, it started all the speculation about there being a remaster or remake of Red Dead Redemption 1. Ever since also, like about a couple weeks ago when I forgot who, I think it was Korea, that re-rated the game again. And that started speculation. And now Rockstar did this where they updated their the title of the website there, and they seem to be doing something with the website where they're upgrading things and adding stuff in there, including like platform additions. Like for example, before RDR1 was only available on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but now they've added Switch, they've added PS4, they've added PS5, Series X, Xbox One, and PC, which makes you believe that there's even though they haven't announced anything, there's something going on. And there's something that's going to come out eventually. There's also, like, if you look at code and stuff, there's stuff in there about a remaster or a remake, whatever. More than likely, this is going to be a remaster. It's not going to be a remake. A remake would take several years to develop, especially if you're just going to take the RDR2 engine and try to dump RDR1 in there. It's still going to take work to smooth things out and stuff. I don't expect them to put in that much work. I expect Rockstar to do a remaster, like up the frames per second to 60, upscale the graphics, make some improvements here, add some. They should add some stuff from RDR2 to RDR1, but it won't be a full blown remake. You're not gonna have this big expensive new game from RDR1 in the RDR2 engine. Unfortunately, it would have been great, but I don't think they're gonna put that much work into it. At best, I would just hope that they upscaled it and made it 60 frames per second and made it available on all these platforms. At best, and that's what I'm hoping for. At worst, I would hope not. I hope they would learn their lesson from the trilogy, the definitive edition, and not go cheap. But I can't trust Rockstar to not go cheap on their stuff. They are low. They like to do this. They like to invest low and expect high, and you can't do that with these. People expect you to put in work on these games. They expect to work on the definitive edition. You didn't do that. So if you're gonna release RDR1 remaster, if you're even going to do remaster, it should be a good remaster where the graphics are well upgraded. There aren't any stupid glitches and bugs. The game looks good and runs at 60 frames per second. Hopefully that's what happens. The thing that worries me, though, is that there's a Switch version included, which if anybody played the Definitive Edition on the Switch knows that that's the worst running one of all of them. And that's including that all the other versions didn't run that well to begin with. Switch was the worst because it's just not a strong system to run these type of games. I don't know if RDR1 is going to be able to run well on the Switch, and it worries me that it'll bring the rest of the versions down because they're trying to get the Switch version in there. I understand why. I mean, the Switch has like a lot of owners, so that's more profit for them. They're trying to get a Switch version out, but I'm afraid that it's going to drag the rest of these versions down because they have to abide by the Switch version. So we'll see what they do. I hope and I really hope that Rockstar does their work here. They learn from the definitive edition. They learn not to cut corners and not to release crap and make it a good game. But we'll see. I can't trust them right now, and I'm waiting to see till I get like game clips and previews and stuff like that before I get really excited. Because I want to see what they're working on before I get all excited. Some people are already like saying, "Oh, I gotta pre-order this now." No, don't pre-order now. Wait till it comes out. Look at what the game is. See previews. Look at reviews. Make a judgment call. Don't just fanboy on this game just because it's RDR1 and pre-order right now. It's not. It's a dumb decision to make, and you're just showing Rockstar that you'll buy anything they show out there, regardless of quality. We shouldn't do that. Next item, we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5. It's sold 40 million units now. And congratulations to Sony, man. That's a good accomplishment. Considering how we started this system cycle in 2020 when it first came out, we were in the middle of the COVID pandemic. The systems were very scarce. You couldn't find them. You couldn't order them online. Scalpers were selling them for like 2 grand a piece and stuff like that. It was ridiculous how we started off this console generation. But now that the PS5 is more readily available, the Xbox Series X is readily more available. We're starting to see more people get their hands on the PS5, and we're starting to even see discounts. I've seen discounts on the PS5. I've seen discounts on the Series X. I've seen bundles where they add either Diablo 4 or Modern Warfare 2, and it's the same price. So it's actually selling more. So 40 million, congratulations, and it'll probably it'll eventually get by the end of its life cycle. It'll probably end up getting about 100 million, I would say. And they're off to a good start. I don't think Xbox doesn't release their sales figures. They don't say how many they've sold. They're not near 40 million. Though I would root for Xbox because competition is good for the gaming industry. So I would root for Xbox to compete with the Sony and the PS5 so that they could be even, or at least close to number 2 or number 3. Right now I would say they're number 3. They're both behind Nintendo because the Switch sells like pancakes. They've sold well above 100 million units. And whenever they do release on the next iteration of the Switch, which is rumored to be like a Switch 2 that's coming out in 2024, it's probably going to sell very well as well. Nintendo always been able to sell well, so long as they put out a quality product, and the Switch was a quality product, even though it's a downgrade from the PS4 and the PS5 and stuff like that. Mario always sells, Zelda always sells, so that's why they're successful. And I'm glad to see that the PlayStation is doing very well, and I hope that Xbox does well as well, so that there could be competition in the gaming industry, because that only benefits us as most, the customers. That them all doing well means that they'll all compete with each other, which means that they'll lower prices, which means that we win at the end. And we get better games at the end. So let's go on to the next topic. So also for the PS5, PS5 is rolling out some new accessibility and audio options, some social features, and some UI enhancements. So right now this is currently in beta. Only the people that are subscribed to the beta access can use these right now. But these are options that will eventually roll out to the general public. So let's find out what they are. So let's see. New accessibility features. Use a secondary controller for assistance. You can now assign a secondary controller to one account as an assist controller and use 2 controllers to operate your PS5 console as if you were using a single controller. This feature introduces a new way for you to enjoy games collaboratively with others and help a friend or child navigate a particularly challenging section of a game. So to use an assist controller, you go to settings, accessibility controllers, use second controller for assistance, and then hold on use assist controller. So basically this is just if you have a little if you need some extra assistance with the controller, this basically helps people who have a specific handicap and can't use one controller. They have a second controller to help them out with that. That's actually good for accessibility. System UI haptic feedback. You are now have the option to turn on haptic feedback effects while navigating your PS5 with your DualSense controller, DualSense Edge controller, or your PS Virtual Reality 2 sensor controller. When enabled, system sound effects for certain events will also be reflected physically through haptics, such as moving focus, reacting to end limit to a scrollable section, checking a box, or when you receive notifications. Basically, the controller will vibrate, or the haptic feedbacks will give you feedback whenever something happens, even in the UI. So that's pretty neat. Support for compatibility Dolby Atmos enabled audio devices. So 3D audio powered by Tempest 3D audio tech can now be enjoyed by those who own compatibility Dolby Atmos enabled HDMI devices, such as soundbars, TVs, and home theaters. Tempest 3D audio specifically renders to the Dolby Atmos audio devices in use, including overhead channels, allowing for greater levels of immersion and audio skip to the PS5 games. So basically, this is extra compatibility for certain audio devices to be able to do 3D audio and other kinds of audio. So that's actually good. Social feature enhancements. Party UI update. You can now invite a player into a closed party without automatically adding the player into the group or creating a new group. Additionally, players can now send open and closed party invitations to groups instead of only individual players. So now you could open up a party without actually having a person in the party, and now you will be able to do open invites and closed invites to groups of people, and not just having to do each person individually. So that's actually a decent enhancement. Share screen preview. When someone is sharing their screen in a party, you can now join. You'll now see a preview image of the share screen even before you enter the party. All right, so that's pretty cool. So if somebody's sharing their screen in a party, when you scroll down in the party before you join, you can see what everybody else is looking at as a preview. That's good. Join friends game sessions easily. You can now easily see which of your friends are in an active. Ah, I read that wrong. You can now easily see which of your friends are in an active. You can in an activity. That's why I couldn't read it right. You can now join under the Friends tab. The joinable icon will be displayed next to the friends who are playing a game you can join. You can join a friend's game directly by pressing the options button and selecting Join Game, or by selecting the Join button on their profile card. So basically, it makes it a little easier to join somebody if you see them in game. Game Hub tournament tiles. In the Game Hub, you can now see how many tournaments you've entered and the highest place you've achieved, as well as the start time for your next tournament. You can select the tile to see the full tournament list. I've never really done tournaments. This is more for people who like to play competitively, but that's good that it's there. React to messages with emojis. You can now add reaction to messages with emojis, which are communicating with friends quicker and easier. So basically, if you see a message and you like it, you can put a heart on it and stuff like that. That's good. That makes it like more social media friendly. Ease of use feature. Search for games in your library. You can now search for games within your game library. Okay, well, that's all. I think that's always been there, but I guess this makes it shorter. Hey, game help improvement. So this is for the game cards. I've never really used the game cards. Like if I ever need a tip or anything, I usually just look it up online. But I guess I should be able to be doing this more often, because there are some good tip cards in there that I've seen. It's not something that I've trained myself to automatically use. But improvements to the game tip cards, that's a good feature. Discover new features. Browse useful tips by getting the most out of your PS5 and learn about the new features and the new discovery tips. Okay, that's good. Support for larger capacity M.2 SSDs. This is a very good one. You can now use an M.2 SSD with a maximum capacity of 8 terabytes, up from the previous 4 terabyte limit, to expand storage space on your PS5 console. So before this beta, you were only able to use up to 4 terabytes of the SSD card expansion bay, which I just recently put on my PS5. I just recently put a 4 terabyte one. It's plenty of room, but I could see eventually running out of room again. Like when I get a couple of games this coming Black Friday, I could totally see myself running out of room again. So it's actually good that they're going to up it to 8. Though I've never seen an 8 terabyte SSD. I'm guessing they're not going to be cheap at all. Since the current 4 terabyte ones, the cheapest one I've been able to see is $175. I can imagine an 8 terabyte easily being $400, $500, even more in fact. But we'll see how they price them. But if you are able to get your hands on an 8 terabyte SSD, that you can now use it once this becomes public, or if you're in the beta already. So those are all good improvements for the PlayStation 5. They're not out yet for the general public, but if you're in the beta, you can use these now. I think some of my friends are, because I've seen some emojis on the PlayStation Party, so I know some people do have it. Next item up on the list, we're going to talk about the NPD sales charts. Now, this is the sales charts for last month, June. Not last month. This was 2 months ago. But they are always slow to report these sales. So the reporting period is from 5/28/23 through 7/1/23. So then by the start of July, start of like the end day of May to the start of July. So let's see what we have. First game was Diablo 4. That's a very popular game. I'm not really into this type of game. It's very grindy. I don't really like to get into that many type of grindy games. I mean, I have been into GTA 5. I've been to Red Dead Online. That's pretty much where I like my grinds to go. Unless it's like a JRPG like Final Fantasy or stuff like that. I don't really want to get into too many grindy games. Final Fantasy 16, speaking of grindy JRPGs. Though this is not as grindy. This is more like Devil May Cry meets Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 16, I haven't played it yet. I do have it on my list to get games to get. It looks like a very good game. It follows a lot of the lore of Final Fantasy with a new twist. It kind of has a lot of political intrigue. The story's a little political based between two warring factions involving I forgot what they call them here, but they're like the giants that are like Ifrit and Behemoth and all the monsters that we know from Final Fantasy. They play a role. And one day I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go through the story because it looks intriguing. Number 3 is, I'm glad it's here because it's Street Fighter 6. I am a big fan of Street Fighter ever since Street Fighter 2. I mean, I first started playing in the arcade when I was a little kid, and I'm glad that Street Fighter 6 is doing very well. It's number 3 on the sales charts, and it's a game that I really like playing, and when I have a chance to. Going through the list now, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Not surprised that it's still 4. This game's gonna be on the top 10 for months to come. Hogwarts Legacy, it came out, I think, in February, March. It's still going strong at number 5. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare, CODs are always going to sell well, so no shocker that's still up there. Jedi Survivor, number 8, very good. MLB The Show 23. We're right in the middle of baseball season. The trade deadline just passed for baseball, so I'm not shocked that baseball's hot right now. And then filling out the top 10 is Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales and Marvel Spider-Man. Not surprising, most of these games were on sale the last couple of weeks. I know Modern Warfare 2 was selling for like $34. I've seen it. I saw it at $34 on Xbox, $38 everywhere else. Hogwarts Legacy was on sale for 47. Even Tears of the Kingdom, which is brand new, it just came out. I've been seeing it for like as low as $45. So a lot of these games that stick around, that's because they were on sale. Jedi Survivor, I don't think I've seen a sale on it yet, so I'm really happy to see it there because it's actually a good game despite its little flaws with running. It's the stuttering and stuff that it's had. They've actually done a lot of patching to improve the performance of the game, so it looks a lot better now than it did when it released. And Spider-Man and Miles Morales, they were on sale recently, so I'm not shocked that they're in the top 10. And with the anticipation of Spider-Man 2 coming out soon, I'm not surprised that these games are in the top 10 either. So, very good list of games that are here. If you guys are interested in trying these games out, I really recommend Street Fighter 6. I recommend Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I do plan to play it. I do want to try it out just to see what all the hoopla is about. Modern Warfare 2, the campaign is very good. I don't think the multiplayer has been really been talked down on, so I don't think it's very good. But I like the story. Survivor was very good. MLB The Show. The baseball games are always fun for me. I always love the games, and of course, you can't go wrong with Spider-Man. So, great games to play and try out. Next item on the news list, we're going to talk about MK1. Speaking of fighting games, another fighting game I'm looking forward to is Mortal Kombat 1, which will release, I think, in the middle or the end of September. And they're going to be announcing characters as we go along. And the latest announcement was the announcement of Garrus. Garrus was a character in MK11, was basically a minion of the boss character in that game. And he actually looks badass here. He looks a little slimmer though, but he still retains a lot of that bulk that he had in MK11. Though he looks a little slimmer here. In this version of the game, he's Luke. He still serves the Elder God, but in this case it's Liu Kang, since he's the Fire God and the Protector of Earthrealm. And in this version of the game, since this is a reimagining of the world in Liu Kang's eyes, since he is now the controller of time and everything, so he took Garrus, the character, and made him his ally now. So in this game, Garrus is working for Liu Kang. So it's a good addition. I really like Garrus, the character. He wasn't a good character to play as in the game, but he was a good character to fight against, and he was a good antagonist. So it's gonna be interesting to see the other side of Garrus as Liu Kang's sidekick, basically. So it'll be interesting to see Garrus. I like the character's design. I like his look, and I think he's gonna be a good addition. So, and like I said, for Mortal Kombat 1, we're going to be getting more news as we go along, since we still got at least 2 months before the game releases. So, we'll be getting more news. I'll be reporting on each new character that comes out that gets reported on. And the last thing I want to talk about today is that the Xbox is saying that they're going to have a big presence in GamersCon 2023. For those who don't know, GamersCon is like the Europe's version of E3. It's held in Germany every year. And it's basically E3 in Europe. Like, they have the companies will go out there, they'll make announcements, they'll do trailers, and it's open to the public the whole time. So people could just fly over there, get their tickets, and anybody can go and watch the show. So Xbox is going to have a big presence there. Not shocked, because the show starts on August 23rd, and that's a whole week and change before their biggest game of the year comes out, which is Starfield. That's a Bethesda game, which is being compared to like Fallout in space. So it's a game that they're really banking on to be good this year. Their other big game was Redfall, which released a couple of months ago. That game was horrible. It flopped. I tried it. It's just not a good game. I don't know what they were thinking when they made that game, but it wasn't a good game. So they're really, really relying on this game to be the pusher of this year, to be the game of the year for Xbox this year. And they're going to go big, and they're going to probably do a lot of marketing, because there hasn't been a lot of marketing for this game in the last couple of months, I want to say. And the game's releasing in the 1st of September. I know, the 5th of September. So you would expect the marketing to start. And I think here's where there'll be the big final push, where they'll start saying a lot of stuff about Starfield. But they're also going to be talking about Forza Motorsport. And they're going to be showing a lot of games that are coming out at the end of this year, too. Like Payday 3, Armored Core 6, Persona 5 Tactica, Cyberpunk, the new update, which is Phantom Liberty. So they'll be talking. There'll be a bunch of games here presented at Gamescom. It's like E3, so it's gonna be a lot of announcements, a lot of gameplay trailers will come out. A lot of news will come out of this show. So I'll probably be talking about it at the end of this month. And so we're hoping that they'll do a good presentation. Like I said, Xbox is like third place right now in the game console competition. I don't like calling it a war because it's kind of stupid that they call it's called a war. But um, like for competition with Sony and Nintendo, it's number three. And like I said, I would really like Xbox to be more competitive because the more competition there is in the market, the better for us. Better games, better pricing, and better overall for the consumer. So I want Xbox to be successful so that PlayStation can be more serious and develop better games. Like for example, once COD eventually Call of Duty becomes an Xbox exclusive in 10 years, I want Sony to be able to counter that with maybe SOCOM or Killzone or bringing or something new. So I would expect better competition. So we'll see what happens. I do expect this show to be a good show and that Xbox will have a strong presence, especially with Starfield coming out a week after that. So that's all I really had to talk about, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. A little side note: I'm not gonna have a stream this week, unfortunately. I have lots of work this week. I'm off tomorrow, but so's the wife. So we're gonna go out. We're gonna go have a good time and do like 'cause it's the only day I have off this week. Next week, this weekend, I'm gonna be working double shifts, so it's gonna be a really busy weekend for me. So no streams at all. Next week, hopefully, I'll be able to do something with a stream. I don't know yet. I'll see what I can do, but definitely, I'm gonna try to do these videos every week so that you guys I could update my friends and all you guys on news and stuff that's going on in the gaming world, which is a big hobby of mine and a big interest of mine. So thanks guys for watching. Take care. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.